Sussex took third place in this season's LV County Championship after Chris Nash, Luke Wells and Ed Joyce guided them to a fabulous 6-wicket win over the champions Durham, the hosts at the BrightonHoveJobs.com county ground, chasing down a target of 295 with some ease. Durham themselves had recovered magnificently on the penultimate day from 120 for 6 to 380 for 7 to take a lead of 218 into the last day of the season, and both overnight batsmen Keaton Jennings and Usman Arshad reached personal milestones in the morning, Jennings passing his previous best score of 123, while Arshad scored his maiden first-class 50. The 20-year-old Arshad has been a revelation ever since he joined the Durham first team in the latter part of the summer. He's been a consistent wicket-taker with the ball, and he was now showing that he can also bat, as he smashed a couple of sixes to take his partnership with Jennings for the 8th wicket to 106. Jennings had been at the crease for just over 7 hours when, on a career-best 127, he was finally dismissed. Ben Brown with an excellent catch down the leg side off Nash. Arshad followed in the next over with 83 runs to his name. He swung Ashar Zaidi out to Ed Joyce with a total of 444 for 9. The last pair added a further 14 runs before Chris Rushworth was bowled by Zaidi. Durham were all out for 458, and that gave Sussex 75 overs to chase down a target of 295. On paper, it looked like quite a big ask, but in reality, Sussex made very light work of their task against a Durham attack which has been bowling sides out for fun in recent weeks. Of course, Sussex needed a good start, and they got one through Nash and Wells, whose first job was to see out the rest of the morning session, something they did with a fair amount of comfort. The pitch was still clearly a very good one to bat on, even on the very last day of the summer. By the time lunch was taken, these two batsmen had set up the game rather nicely. Wells had more of the strike, and he made the most of it too. He went after Scott Borthwick when he was brought into the attack for a spell after the break, here hitting the leggy for a 6. Nash then reached 1,000 championship runs for the summer, a summer where you had the feeling that he was not always at his best. 1,000 in a season is, though, no mean feat, especially from a man who has to bat at the top of the order against a new ball. Both openers made 50s here. Wells got to his off 81 deliveries, this being one of the 5 4s he struck in that, to go with his 6 off Borthwick. Nash's half-century came from 3 balls fewer, as he smashed Borthwick for his 7th 4. Between them, this pair were making that target of 295 seem to be a fairly simple one to chase down. More than 100 of those runs had already been knocked off, and Sussex had all of their wickets intact. Until a bad run in the second half of the season and the problems with Monty Panesar before he left on loan to Essex, Sussex were right up there with Durham and looked as if they might claim their first title since 2007. Some indifferent displays then saw them lose their way, and they've had a real problem in winning games in Hove. So although it appeared that the big reason to win this match was to take the £87,000 of prize money for finishing in third, there was even more to this chase than that. As the end of the 40th over approached, Wells and Nash had seen off 163 of those runs. So just 132 were needed in 35 overs when Wells gave Graham Onions his 70th wicket of a wonderful championship campaign with a nick to Paul Collingwood. Durham have a very proud record this season and would not have wanted to finish a fantastic summer with a defeat. They may have now fancied their chances, but if they did, then they were quickly snubbed out by Nash and the new man Joyce. The Irishman has been going about his business in a very solid manner all summer, and he would have loved to finish off this campaign with a match-winning innings. He and Nash certainly looked up to the challenge as they took their side past 200 with ease. Nash did give one chance when on 91 when he was dropped in the slips by Borthwick, and a top edge over the slips off Ben Stokes then took him to his 3rd 100 of the season and the 16th of his career. It was a superb innings which had used up 139 balls, from which he'd found the boundary on 16 occasions. It was a wonderful way for him to finish off the season. He would of course have loved to have completed the job, but on 108 he tried to smash Borthwick over the top, but was instead caught in the deep by Michael Richardson. Nash left with his side requiring only another 52 runs to win. That was reduced to 32 by the time that Matt Pryor's rather miserable season with the bat came to an end, as he holed out off Will Smith, for whom that was his last ever wicket in Durham colours. Meanwhile, Joyce then completed his 8th 50 of the campaign. He'd needed only 61 balls for this one, with this being his 9th 4. The Irishman remains one of the most consistent performers on the county circuit. Last week, Durham celebrated long and hard after winning the title, but I wonder if Phil Mustard has ever gone this crazy at the fall of a wicket. His dismissal of Luke Wright gave the keeper his maiden success in the first-class game with the ball. What a moment! His slightly less than filthy leg spin was used for the final ball of the match. Ben Brown clipped a full toss for 4, and Sussex had eased to their target with 8 overs to spare. Joyce ending unbeaten on 65, as Sussex won by 6 wickets to finish an up-and-down season on a high. Indeed, the third-place finish was their best in 6 seasons. The 22-point win here seeing them finish 2 points ahead of Warwickshire, who'd beaten Derbyshire on the previous day. Durham lost for the 4th time this year, but they won't give a jot about that. Their 10 wins ended as 3 more than anyone else, and the smart money will be on them making a good defence of their title in 2014.